The State Bar of Texas has filed a formal misconduct accusation against the prosecutor who secured a conviction in one of the country's most dubious and disputed death penalty cases. And the complaint alleges that John Jackson, who was at the time an assistant district attorney, withheld evidence that pointed to the innocence of Cameron Willingham, who was executed under Rick Perry's watch in 2004 for the murder of his 3 young daughters who died in a house fire in 1991. The complaint says, before, during, and after the 1992 trial, ADA Jackson knew of the existence of evidence that tended to negate the guilt of Willingham and failed to disclose the evidence to defense counsel. The complaint also says that Jackson, by the way, later became a judge, went very far to get favorable treatment for Johnny Webb. Johnny Webb is the man who testified that Willingham had started the fire in question, and the complaint also says Jackson dishonestly told a court he had no other evidence that might help Willingham's defense, which of course he would be obligated to disclose. Jackson maintains he did nothing wrong. He insists that Willingham, who was 23 at the time of the deaths, was guilty of arson. However, this Johnny Webb, who was the one that said, oh, yeah, it was Willingham who started the fire, Webb recanted the testimony in the year 2000. Remember, the execution took place in 2004. Okay, of course we should try to have prosecutors who will not do this, but there is no way to undo prosecutorial misconduct if you've already killed the convicted innocent person in this particular case. You can give the family money, you can punish the prosecutor, but you can't bring back the man that died because of the prosecutor's misconduct. And I agree that there's a broader conversation here about using jailhouse informant testimony, because it's way too easy for a prosecutor to convict innocent people by finding someone in the jail to say, oh yeah, he confessed to me. That's one conversation, but the conversation around the death penalty is the bigger one here.
It is, and it has to go. There's just an assumption that that the judges and that the prosecutors and that those giving testimony, that everything just works perfectly, and we're to accept that. But no, it's not a perfect system by any means.
And I'm not trying to excuse the incarceration of people who are innocent. But what I'm saying is you can compensate someone for that. You ruin their life, often taken the most valuable years of their income producing lifetime, but you cannot possibly compensate someone when you've put them to death.
Right. And even when you have someone who admits to a crime, oftentimes they are doing that under, duress, or there's a coercion. And so even then, you can't say with certitude that that they necessarily committed the crime that we're talking about.
32 states have the death penalty. 18 have abolished it. That's 36% of states. It has to go. It just simply has to go. Back after this.